Well, Math 96, we're going to do page 101 of your notebook today. Solve a quadratic equation with the quadratic formula. The essential question at the top of the page is, how is a quadratic equation placed into standard form? And tonight's homework will appear at the end of this video. On the last slide, it's textbook page 519, numbers 7 through 14. Okay, so you have a box on page 101. You need to fill in the quadratic formula into the box. So this is one of the better ways to memorize the formula with the parentheses. It keeps your signs all correct. Once you're done writing that out, then you fill in the letter B, B, A, C, A. So that is the entire quadratic formula that should be written on page 101 of your white notebook. And then in the other box, equations must be in standard form when using the quadratic formula. That means the number for A is always in front of x squared. The number for B is always in front of the x. The number for C does not have an x, and your equation must equal 0. So everything on the left side and then equals 0. Hit pause if you need a minute to fill this in. Okay, so here's example 1. You can see it does not say equals 0. So we have to pop over this -3. We're going to do that by adding the 3 on both sides of equal. So we're getting this first into standard form so that the equation says equal to 0. Then we're going to identify A. A is always in front of the x squared, so that's a 5. The B is always in front of the x, so that's 8. And the C does not have the x variable next to it. And then we can just go ahead and fill in our formula. So remember, this was B, B, A, C, A. So the numbers that are going to go in there are 8, 8, 5, 3, 5. Okay, and then it's a matter of math. Now, how you do the math, I can show you a way to make sure that you kind of learn the easiest way and watch your signs. I always do this first. So just take care of this item first. So we're going to write x equals negative with 8 is just -8. Now, sometimes that's going to become a negative, so that's why we have parentheses there, okay? And then plus or minus all over 2 times 5 is 10. Now you can focus on the radical, okay? So we're going to draw the radical. We're going to take care of this first item. 8 squared is 64. And then we're going to cross it out. Now watch your sign. A -4 times a +5 times a +3. This is where the most student errors occur. So a negative times a positive times another positive would still be a negative. Draw your sign. And then just worry about the numbers. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. So we're going to do this as side work. And whatever we get, we're going to put right here, okay? So again, 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. And we already figured out the sign would be negative. Now we're going to actually do 64 minus 60, which is 4. And the square root of 4 is just 2. So we're going to put a 2 there. So just find my eraser. And I'm going to shorten up my line a little bit here. Okay. So now what do? Well, now we have to break up our problem into 2 problems. And it's based on the fact that we have the plus and minus. So our first problem is going to be with the plus sign. -8 plus 2 over 10. So we just did that one. And the other one's going to be negative 8 minus 2 over 10. We just did that one. So there's two answers. And those two answers are going to represent, and you don't have to draw that, it's going to represent the graph where it hits the x-axis. So let's figure that out. So negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6 over 10, which reduces. That's a fraction. You can divide out 2's. So it'd be negative 3 over 5. So our first x-intercept is not even at 1, is it? It's negative 3/5. Okay, so that's our first x-intercept of the graph. The next one is negative 8 minus 10. That's negative 10 over 10, which reduces to negative 1. And there would be our other x-intercept for our graph. Now, does this graph open up or down? Remember, you can look right here. If it's a positive lead, it opens up. So this is a very narrow graph. But what we just found were those two x-intercepts. One is at negative 3/5 and one is at negative 1. So our final answer would be x is equal to negative 3/5, comma, negative 1. And what they really represent are the points on the graph where the graph hits the x-axis. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, this one is set up equal to 0. This is our A, B, and C. Okay, so draw out your quadratic formula with all your parentheses. We're going to fill in A, B, and C. So A equals 3, B equals negative 6, C equals negative 4. So you do have to take the signs with. So remember, it's B, B, A, C, A. So negative 6, negative 6, 3, negative 4 over 3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and focus our attention right here, and then we'll do the radical. So x will equal. So negative negative 6 changes to positive 6, plus or minus. Bottom is 6. And now we'll do the radical on the side. So first thing we're going to do is take care of negative 6 squared. That means negative 6 times negative 6, which is 36. We're going to cross that out, and then we're going to watch our signs. A negative times a positive times a negative. A negative times a negative is a positive times another positive. We would have a positive in here. Excuse me. And then 4 times 3 is 12. That's for the first two. Times another 4 is 48. Oops. My goodness. Sorry. Hit a button that made it go small. So 12 times 4 was 48. And we have to do 36 plus 48, which is 84. Okay, so we're not done yet. So if we add those two numbers up, we get 84. Now we have to reduce the square root. We have to reduce that. We have to do who's out and who's in. So let's see. I know 4 goes in there. There we go. So 84 can be broken up into 4 times 21. And there's no other good number in 21 because that's just 3 and 7, right? So who's out and who's in? So out is 2, in is 21. So we're going to put that right here. 2 rad 21. I'm going to shorten this line up a little bit. I'm going to center this. Okay. So we did who's out and who's in. Square root of 4 is 2 is out and rad 21's in. So all of that should be done on the side so you keep your work neat, okay? All right. So then we're going to go ahead and check to see if we can reduce this anymore. And I'm going to focus if you have all three numbers on the V. Here's the V. We never reduce anything in the radical. It's all the numbers outside the radical. If you can divide something out, then you must continue and reduce. You must have a number in all three spots or you can't do this, okay? So the number's on the V and a number in each spot. So we can divide by 2. So if I divide 6 by 2, a 3 would be left. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that'll be our final answer. 3 plus or minus 1 rad 21 over 3. Now, no one writes that hidden 1 right there. Now, this is going to be our final answer until we need to figure out where that is. And I'm going to show you that later on because I'm going to show you, boy, that just doesn't want to go away this morning, later on how to do 3 plus rad 21 over 3 and 3 minus rad 21 over 3. I don't know how to make that box go away. Okay, so what that's going to be is just decimal numbers, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, just not today. All right, let's move on and do another one. Okay, this one just requires more work. We have more things to pop over. We have to pop over the 7u. We have to pop over the 6 because we need this to be equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 7u onto both sides. I'm going to subtract 6 to the other side. These will go away. So our problem would be u squared. 5u minus 7u is negative 2u. And then the negative 6, and then equals 0. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write out your spot for your quadratic formula. Okay, A is a hidden 1, B is negative 2, C is negative 6. And our top is BBAC over A. So negative 2. Okay, so let's focus on just doing this front part. So negative 2 would be a positive 2, plus or minus, and on the bottom we have 2 times 1, which is 2. And now let's do the radical. Okay, so off on the side. So negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, so that would be 4. Focus on the signs. Negative times the back negative would be positive times another middle positive is still positive. 4 times 1 is 4 times 6 is 24. Add up 4 plus 24 for square root of 28. Consider whether you need to reduce the square root of 28. Yes, that's 4 times 7. So who's out and who's in? So 2's out, rad 7 is in. And this one you can easily see that we're going to be reducing. Remember, you have to have a number in each spot on the outside, and we do. So you can divide by 2's. This would become a 1. This is a 1. This is a 1. Our final answer would be 1 plus or minus 1 rad 7, but nobody would write that, over 1. So we're going to get rid of this 1. And then no one writes anything over 1. That's kind of like writing with some number, whatever, 17 over 1. Nobody writes that. We just write 17, right? So we don't need the 1 in the denominator. And that's our answer. It's just a reduced answer. It still means that there's 2 intercepts on the graph. One of the intercepts will be at 1 plus or minus square root 7. It'll be a decimal. The other one will be 1 minus square root of 7. And I'll talk to you about how to find those decimals on your calculator later, okay? Let's do another one and then we're almost done. Okay, this one I didn't expect, but okay, we have to do a little bit more math. We have to do a little distribute to get our actual equation out here. So 3t times t is 3t squared. 3t times positive 2 is positive 6t equal to 1. And now we just have to pop over the 1. If I remember right, I did not give you any of these on the homework, but at any rate, we still need to do the problem because I think we're going to get an imaginary answer here. I'm hoping so. Okay, so 3t squared plus 6t minus 1 equals 0. So what is our a value, b value, c value? And write out your quadratic formula. Okay, let's plug these in. So b 6, the a value, the c value, and the a value. We're going to focus on doing this part right here, top and bottom. So our x will be equal to, so negative 6 plus or minus all over 2 times 3 is 6. And now we're going to do the square root. So we're going to do this as side work. So right here, 6 squared is 36. Check my sign. Negative 4 times positive times a negative. A negative times a negative would be a positive. 4 times 3 times 1 is just 12. I don't know why this didn't come up as a negative for the imaginaries. Okay, well, we have to keep going. 36 plus 12 is 48. And then we can reduce 48. That's 16 times 3. So out is 4. Square root of 16 is 4. In is 3. So out is 4. In is 3. And then just go ahead and reduce again. So this time we can divide out 2. So this would be a negative 3. This would be a 2. And this would be a 3. So negative 3 plus or minus 2 rad 3 over 3. Okay, I'm going to show you the homework next. Okay, so some of these are going to have imaginary answers. You're going to do them the same. Just remember, if you had the square root of, say, negative 4, the answer here is 2, because square root of 4 is 2. And for the negative, we pluck out the I. Okay, so there's a couple of homework answers that have imaginary answers. Just remember to take out the I whenever you see the negative in the square root. Okay, and I'll talk about those when we come in class. I'm just looking to see which ones, if any, have that. Nope, I gave you all real answers. It looks like, so you won't even have to deal with that. Okay? So don't even worry about that. It shouldn't even come up. Okay, have a great day, you guys.